guys, welcome back to the channel and to today's Ultimate Showdown. Guys, we have seen an influx of new Nerf Rival pistols hitting the market this year to compete with Nerf's domination in this particular category. We had Zuru X-Shot, who created the new Chaos series of ball blasters, which have just recently hit the market. Then we got Dart Zone, who has been creating ball blasters for a while now, but this year recently put out a pistol underneath the Adventure Force logo. So, which company created the best Nerf Rival gun underneath the pistol category? Today we're gonna find out, my friends, because it's company versus company. Rival Blaster versus Blaster in a 7-category side-by-side breakdown. So after this video, you'll know exactly which blaster is right for you. Now, if videos like this interest you, please take a second and gently tap the subscribe button so you don't miss future content just like this. We're going to take a look at is cost, and we're going to keep things simple by only focusing on the average retail cost. We're not going to go into whatever a potential sale cost might come in at. In addition, we will also award anywhere between 1 and 5 points in each category depending on how the blaster matches up in that particular area. This way, in the end, we can total up all the points that each blaster accrued based on the categories and come up with a sort of pecking order. So I encourage you in each category to come up and number each blaster how you see it. Alright, it's time to get our contestants in here and see which of these blasters is the most expensive. So, bring them on in. In at number 5, and the most expensive blaster out of this group is the Nerf Rival Mercury. Coming in at $24.99. It does have a special feature that comes with this blaster that none of the other blasters actually offer, and we'll get into that in a minute. In at number 4, and the second most expensive blaster on this list, is the Nerf Rival Heracles, coming in at $19.99. And in at number 3 is the Nerf Rival pistol that's been holding the top spot in this category for quite some time, the Nerf Rival Kronos, coming in at an average retail price of $14.99. In at number 2 is the newest comer to the scene, and that is the Zuru X-Shot Chaos Meteor, coming in at an average retail price of $12.99. And finally, the most affordable blaster on this list is created by Dart Zone with the Adventure Force label, and that is the Sentry, coming in at a price tag of $9.97. Now, my friends, if you're asking yourself why the Nerf Rival Mercury pistol is that much more expensive than all of the other ones on this list, that is because it's the only pistol in this group that actually includes this really cool Nerf Rival target, which actually swings back and forth. It's a very nice target. I use it a lot in my videos, and basically the extra cost is why you're getting this. So take that with a grain of salt when you look at that price tag. Alright guys, time to award our first set of points. Don't forget, play along at home, keep it on a pad, and then share it in the comment section later. Alright, so at $9.97, it's really hard to ignore the value of the Sentry, so that's going to get 5 points. Next up is 4 points to the X-Shot Meteor. There's a lot of value in that package. Next, we're going to award 3 points to the current blaster that's been dominating this particular category for quite some time, and that is the Nerf Rival Kronos. Now, the last 2 blasters, the Heracles and the Mercury, although they do cost a little bit more, I'm still going to give them 3 points each, because they each bring something that the others do not offer for a slight increase in the price. Next, we'll move on to capacity in stock form. So we'll start with the Sentry, and the Sentry can actually have a 6-shot capacity, but it does have a unique feature of being able to store 2 rounds on top of the 6 that are actually already preloaded in the internal magazine. And you simply put those in by lifting up here on the front, and you can lay these 2 rounds right there in the little tray. Close it, fire off the 6 that you got, reopen it, and push these in, thus giving you a total of 8 rounds on the blaster. Next up, we'll take a look at the X-Shot Chaos Meteor, and this blaster has a 6-shot capacity. Now, the Nerf Rival Heracles will offer you a 5-round internal magazine, but it also offers the unique feature of being able to store 10 rounds on the blaster for storage. So you'll have 5 on one side and 5 on the other, giving you 15 Rival rounds on the blaster. And finally, when we look at the Mercury or the Kronos, you have a 5-shot capacity with either one of these blasters. So now let's allocate some points, and I'm going to give 5 points to 3 blasters. 5 to the Sentry, 5 to the Meteor, and 5 to the Heracles, The Heracles is going to get 5 even though it's only a 5-shot capacity because it gives you a pretty quick reload feature of having 10 rounds on the blaster for storage. Now, when it comes to the Kronos and the Mercury, which have 5-shot capacities, I'm going to go ahead and give them 4 points each. Third category is going to be power, which we're going to measure by the feet per second that these blasters fired on my chronograph. Coming in first place was the Mercury, coming in at 99 feet per second, followed closely by the Heracles at 97 feet per second, and the newcomer to the block, the Meteor, scored a 95 feet per second on my chronograph. The Kronos at 85 feet per second, and the Sentry kind of disappointed a little bit, coming in at 71 feet per second. So points will be allocated as follows: 5 points for the Mercury, 4 points for the Heracles, 3 points for the Meteor, 2 points for the Kronos, and finally 1 point for the Sentry. The build quality will be the focus of this next category, and that is basically how solid the plastic and the blaster actually feels. And honestly, this is a category where Nerf typically excels, and this is no different. So the Kronos is going to take my first slot for best build feel, and that's going to get 5 points. It's going to be quickly followed up by the other 2 Nerf blasters, the Heracles and the Mercury. Both are going to get 4 points. As for the 4th position for the build quality, I'm going with the Meteor. It actually does feel like a very solid pistol, although it does feel a step under the quality of Nerf. And then finally, I'm going to give the last position over to the Sentry because I'm not really crazy about the door feature, and then when you shake the blaster you can kind of hear some rattling inside, and overall it just doesn't feel as solid as the others. So you got 5 for the Kronos, 4 for the Mercury and the Heracles, 3 points for the Meteor, and you got 2 points for the Sentry. So my friends, we've kind of reached the midpoint of the video, maybe a little bit further than the midpoint, but I am curious to know what your thoughts are and how you see this list coming together. So do me a favor, in the comment section, go ahead and share the way you would order these in your top 5. And if it's different than my list, then that gives people out there a different point of view. Now again, if at any point during this video that you want to see more specific info on a particular blaster, since we're kind of just giving you an overview here, I have reviews of every one of these blasters on my channel, so you can definitely check out the description. There'll be a link to every review video of the blasters featured in this video. Alright my friends, I want to welcome my boy who's going to come in here for the ease of use category because any adult can prime any of these blasters. But my son's 5, the recommended age for all of these blasters is 14, so he's going to show you how either easy or hard it is to prime these blasters. Say hi everybody!
Hi everybody!
You ready?
Yeah!
Alright, you think you can do it? Alright, every time you pick up a blaster and you prime it, buddy, I want you to shoot the target over on the chair, okay? Alright, pick up whichever one you want and let's begin. Alright, we got the Mercury. Can you do that one?
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, you're so... Oh! So you're using a little bit of foot action, huh? Try again.
That did not work.
Oh, you missed twice. Big time. Alright, that is the Nerf Rival Heracles. Let's see if you can do that one.
What?
Yep. Alright. Nice. That's 2 down. Zone Sentry. Actually, Adventure Force Sentry.
How can I not find this one? That's so difficult.
Alright, so you can't do that one? Give it one more really good try.
That is so hard.
Alright, let's move on to the next one. My boy did figure out how to do the Sentry, and he's going to demonstrate it right now. Now, it's not effective for war, but it will work in target shooting. Alright, hit that target. Ah, the Meteor. Let's see.
First try.
Bingo! First try. And finally, the Nerf Rival Kronos. Great shooting, my friend. Which one was the hardest to prime? Alright, so which one was your favorite one to use? And how come?
Because this has your prime.
Oh, so because of the bolt, it's easier to prime? Alright. I want to thank you very much for being a part of the ease of use category. Can you say goodbye to everybody?
Bye, everyone.
Hit that target one more time. Oh! Ease of use point allocation, we're going to go right by with my sunlight. So we're going to say Mercury, you're going to get 5 points. We're going to take the Kronos, the Heracles, and the Meteor and give them 4 points each. And he did struggle big time with the Sentry, but he did manage to do it when he was sitting down and he used basically all 4 of his limbs. So I don't want to give you 1 point, I'm going to go ahead and give you 2. Okay, my friends, when we take a look at the customization category, this is the one area where I am going to take a tad bit of modding into consideration. Now, when it comes to the Zuru X-Shot Meteor and the Dart Zone Sentry, here are the 2 blasters that are actually going to lack in this department. Yes, you can do spring upgrades and any of the kind of internal modifications you want, but right now the tactical rails are strictly there for show and there's no attachments that you can actually affix to them. So I'm going to assign 1 point to each one of those blasters. When it comes to the Heracles, you can put a sight up on top. It does interfere with the priming a little bit, so I'm going to give it a 3 because I like the fact that you can put extra rounds on the blaster. Getting 4 points is going to be the Nerf Rival Mercury. I love the fact that the priming bolt can be swapped onto either side of the blaster, making it fully ambidextrous. The slide up on top where the tactical rail is actually fixed, so if you put a sight up there, it doesn't interfere with the priming of the blaster in any way, shape, or form. So to me, that's worthy of 4 extra points. And then it's on to the king of customization, which is the Kronos. Guys, with a couple of simple additions, you can turn your Kronos into a sweet looking piece of blaster machinery. And that is where the Kronos typically shines. On top of the spring upgrades, there are so many different things you can do to it to actually make it your own. It's really a fun blaster platform to play with. So, 5 points to the Kronos. And the last category we're going to look at are variants. How many different paint schemes are there for that particular blaster? Now, when it comes to the Kronos, there are multiple versions you can get. You can get the original Phantom Core version, or you can pick up the new red and blue versions that they have available. Please note that those will cost a little bit more. They average retail for $19.99. There was also a special edition set of Deadpool Kronos pistols, which came out a while back. And finally, there are plans for the Kronos to be released under the Edge series with the Mercury color scheme. That's not available yet, but should be rather shortly. Shot Chaos Meteor is the next blaster that has a couple of variants out there. One is the one that I have, the blue with the black. There is a blue with the white version on it. So basically on mine, everywhere where you see black, that would actually be white. I don't have it and I can't find a picture of it right now to show you, but there is a blue and black version and a blue and white version. There's also a gold version out there that Zuru X-Shot sent to me and a bunch of other YouTubers, which I'm not sure if that one's actually going to be released to the general public. But if they do release it, then that means that there will be 3 versions of the Meteor. When it comes to the Sentry, there is currently only 1 color scheme out there available, and that's the one that I showed. Mercury has its own unique color scheme from Nerf because it's part of the Edge series. There are no other variants at this time. And of course, the Heracles came with the Battle Camo series, so that's got its own individual paint job, and currently there is not another version of that one. Now it's time to allocate the points. Kronos is going to come in with the top amount of points at 5. We're going to give the Meteor 4 for having at least 2 different versions of it. And the last 3 blasters, the Mercury, the Heracles, and the Sentry, we're going to award 2 points to for each one of those. So it's time to add up all the scores and see where the blasters fell in our rankings. Taking our 5th position with 18 points was the Dart Zone / Adventure Force Sentry. While this blaster, when you compare it to the other 4 on this list, really doesn't stand up, the price and the value of the pistol on its own actually makes it a viable option in this category. Number 4 and number 3 both came in at 25 points, so depending on which one you like, you can swap them into the 4th or 3rd position. And that is the Nerf Rival Heracles, as well as the brand new kid on the block, the Zuru X-Shot Meteor. Guys, if you prefer the Heracles and the ability to put 10 extra rounds on your blaster, then maybe you'll want to move that one into the 3rd position. Or if you prefer to spend $6 less, get an extra shot of ammo per every load, and just have an overall nice platform to fire from, maybe the X-Shot Chaos Meteor slides into your 3rd position. My friends, 2 and 1 were separated by 1 point when I stood these up side by side. And that's saying something because the Kronos has been king for quite a while. But honestly, the Mercury is really closing the gap. So in at number 2 was the Mercury at 27 points, followed by the Kronos in the first position with 28 points. It was a lot closer than I thought. Both pistols have a ton going for it. Now, if you look at things from strictly a price standpoint, then maybe the Kronos is the way you want to go. Not to mention only the price, it actually has a lot of third-party after parts that you can actually stick on your Kronos to really customize it and make it your own. Now, the bolt-action pistol is not going to be for everybody, but once you get kind of used to it, it's actually a pretty cool platform. And one of the Kronos mods that everybody likes a lot are the speed loaders that you can actually use in conjunction with that blaster. Well, guess what, guys? They work on the Rival Mercury really well. And because the top slide on the Mercury is a fixed slide where the bolt is what actually primes the blaster, when you put those speed loaders on that blaster, the balance and the way it looks is absolutely incredible. Now, the Mercury does have a much larger hand grip, so just keep that in mind if you are a smaller child. But honestly, you saw my son in the easy use category. If you had to choose, he chose the Mercury as the blaster. He actually likes shooting more. Now, I do like the fact that he uses his foot. He's pretty ingenious. He always finds a way, and I love that about him. So, my friends, where did you come out with your totals, and what is your list? Do you still think the Rival Kronos reigns supreme? Or do you think one of these other blasters is actually taking the top spot? I'm curious to know. Drop that in the comment section. If you found this video helpful in aiding you in making a future buying decision, man, hit that thumbs up button and share the love. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you on the next video.